We've been waiting for a stimulus package update, Democrats spending bill, and we just got a lot more to talk about in this video. So definitely stick around. Could this finally be it? Senator Joe Manchin finally gets a stimulus deal done. Now you heard it here first, guys. In today's stimulus package update and daily news report, Senator Joe Manchin close to a Democrats-only spending bill. Even Republicans aren't convinced. Now his push for lowering drug prices and all the stimulus that could be in this new Build Back Slim bill. Even the Republicans are saying it. Senator Joe Manchin, he is close to a reconciliation deal with the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. Now inside sources that said the bipartisan Senate energy talks led by Manchin are essentially over and that the depth of the bipartisan approach will ultimately allow Manchin and Schumer to focus on the potential deal that includes green energy tax credits and, of course, tax increases to pay for them. Now, he also told his bipartisan group that he is prepared to back a tax increase and a Democrat-only bill if the bipartisan group can agree to the kind of additional revenue that we have confirmed that staff from Manchin and Schumer offices have been making progress on the contours of a climate and deficit reduction package. The productive split of Manchin's recent talks with Schumer has led some senators to believe that the reconciliation bill with roughly $300 billion in energy tax credits and $800 billion in new revenue is a possibility. And let's not forget about these midterms. A slimmed-down climate version bill thought it could be much smaller than the $1.75 trillion. Our climate and social spending package passed by the House last year will give the Democrats another legislative accomplishment to a campaign on the midterms. The reconciliation process is how we got the latest stimulus checks. Manchin has said cutting drug prices is the only thing that must be done, and to quote his speech at the AARP event, well, drug pricing is something that we are all agree on. If we do nothing else this year, I think we can do a lot more. If we do more this year, that's the one thing that must be done, end quote. And his last part, you guys just have to read it. The waiting game is over. The time the axe is now to finally be ready to actually get things done. Let's cross our fingers on this one, you guys. Now after the AARP event, Manchin doubled down with the tweet saying this West Virginia seniors how to build this nation. I'm committed to ensuring that they have the quality of life that they deserve. That's why I joined the AARP WV today to stand up for #WV seniors and call on my colleges to support legislation to bring down the cost of prescription drugs while allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices, capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month, and allowing the importation of drugs from Canada. We can lower prescription drug prices in America. We must take action and keep these promises that we've made to our seniors. And well, surprisingly, Senator Bernie Sanders, he actually joined in and he showed his support for his rival, Senator Manchin. It's right. Let's cut drug prices in half by strengthening the provision in the House passed Build Back Better legislation to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices like the VA has done for years and pass the whole package with 50 votes next week. That's very optimistic. Other progressives were more skeptical of Manchin. Representative Ilhan Omar pointed out, quote, "You literally killed the bill to do this." Well, of course, she is talking about the Build Back Better bill that died thanks to the nail in the coffin that Manchin happened to put into it. That may also be why the top aide to Bernie called him a phony on Twitter. That a phony. The reason we failed to keep our promises to seniors is because Senator Joe Manchin sabotaged the Build Back Better Act and refuses to end the filibuster. In Joe's word, protecting the filibuster is more important than protecting seniors. No wonder Bideneers love him, end quote. Now, we're definitely going to see this come to a head sooner rather than later. Manchin recently told a panel in the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, 26 House Democrats raised the alarm and said that Constitution may see a spike in health insurance premium unless Congress extends premium tax credits. enhancements, but we must take lower our pocket costs and expand the coverage, a permanent pillar of our healthcare system, and reconciliation is our only chance to get this done." End quote. Schumer met with Manchin at least twice at his office before the Memorial Day recess, and Democratic leader says that he is not giving up on locking down Manchin's wall. Democratic strategists say that getting just a few pieces of Biden's Build Back Better agenda enacted will give a major boost to vulnerable Democratic candidates in the November election. Rising consumer costs have really shifted the White House focus toward deficit reduction and away from larger spending plans. This is the perfect opportunity for a deal with Manchin that seems less likely after talks blew up in December. It's also in Manchin's best interest to max out influence before Republicans take over the House or the Senate, or maybe even both come midterm elections. Now, if that happens, Manchin's influence in Congress is definitely going to be going down. Basically, we can see a point where no one cares at all. We Manchin things imagine that would, but the answer breaks it down here. Quote, "He is a peak influence right now. The leverage he has is likely going to disappear in the next Congress. There's something that he wants, which is deficit reduction. I imagine that no matter what happens in the next Congress, he will find a way to be involved with a one-on-one meetings with the leader and the president. Will probably going by the wayside. If he wants to have a major legislative impact, it's in the next couple of months, and who knows when the next window comes." In quote. Aside from lowering drug prices and reducing the deficit, Manchin has also signaled that he could support some kind of climate provisions and a trimmed-down version of the bill, including a fee on emissions of the greenhouse gas, methane, and a carbon border tax. The lawmakers hope to resolve the talks on the legislation by the end of June before shifting focus to campaigning ahead of the November midterm elections. Manchin's spokesperson didn't confirm the reporting. Now, one part here's the carbon border tax will seek to level the playing field between U.S. companies facing environmental regulations at home and foreign competitors with less rigorous standards of tax as outlined by lawmakers, will raise billions of dollars by levying a tariff on carbon-intensive imports. But the White House has also expressed concerns that he could also raise prices on the host of consumer goods. We don't need any more of that, do we? It's no secret that management has some serious skin in the game when it comes to coal. Now he owns a coal business mighty, and here's the thing, at key moment over the years, Mr. Manchin used his political influence to benefit the West Virginia power plant that has been made the sole customer of his coal products over the last 20 years. He urged a state official to approve its air pollution permit, push fellow lawmakers to support a tax credit that helped the plant, and even work behind the scenes to facilitate a rate increase that drove up revenue for the plant. Manchin has blocked legislation that would speed the country's transition to wind, solar, and other clean energy and away from coal, oil, and gas, the burning of which is dangerously heating up the plant. And with a war and resulting calls to boycott Russian gas, Manchin has actually joined the Republicans to press more American gas and oil production to fill the gap on the world market, as all these moves to benefit Manchin's business directly.